gorgeous. Hello and a very warm welcome to the Ladies Club. Thank you so much for joining us once again as we bring you the leading women's sports show in the country. It's great to have you in our company. We're going to be chatting to the game changers, the trailblazers. My name is Vaylen, Kirtley, and it's so good to be in your company.
And it's certainly that special time of the week where we focus on women in sports. We sit down with your favorite lady in sport and find out what drives her, how she's changing the game, and what it is that it means to be a woman in sport. We're chatting about women who are blazing the trails in sports marketing and branding. On social media platforms. Hashtag in the Ladies Club at Lebo, Motsoeli, at Vaylen, Kirtley, at Sport, at SABC.
We're joined by an awesome guest in studio today, Kaizer Chiefs brand manager DARA CARROL. She is here. We're going to be chatting to her in just a short while. In an industry that's dominated on the field and in the boardroom by men, DARA has made tremendous progress in not only breaking through the proverbial glass ceiling, but also shattering it all together. Remember, get involved in our conversation. It's so easy on all social media platforms. Just use our hashtag, The Ladies Club.
With DARA, we'd like to set the tone with an inspiring quote. Monica Musonda Ari, have a vision and passion. Be courageous, focused, and disciplined. Lastly, persist. It's definitely not easy. And it's only a few years ago that Monica worked as a corporate lawyer for one of the largest conglomerates in Nigeria.
Monica is certainly an incredible woman. She felt she wanted to do more in her home country, and she made the decision to return to Zambia and start her very own business. She changed the game in Zambia, providing affordable nutrition to the Southern African markets.
Yeah, she's also taken an active role in supporting young people who would like to start their own businesses. So she's really an incredible woman. I like the quote as well.
Yeah, me too. And we need more entrepreneurs that young people can look up to, because we need those people to be able to create the platform here in Africa to take us forward.
Absolutely. And perhaps before we go, we take a look at what's happening with Australia's Claire Polisek, who's blazed the trail by becoming the first woman to umpire the men's ODI match.
Well, she recently officiated in the men's one-day international between Namibia and Oman in the final of the World Cricket League Division 2 in Windhoek.
She's really done well. Incredible work. I like the fact that we're seeing more women umpiring and refereeing the men's side of sport. I would still like to see more women coaching the male side of sports. I mean, I think that's something that would be exciting, and also a different dynamic to coaching or refereeing or umpiring or leadership on the field.
Yeah, absolutely. Those barriers are slowly but surely coming down. Just the other day, we also saw a female referee in the French top league in Ligue 1. Yes. So that's fantastic that we are seeing more and more women getting involved in these areas which were previously dominated by men. And that's going to continue for a while. But the fact that we have got ladies there and we've got role models to look up to is something that we can celebrate. We're going to be celebrating our game changer. She's in studio, but do stay with us. You can get involved in the conversation on social media. It's so easy. Hashtag The Ladies Club. We'll be back after this.
Welcome back. On social media platforms, the comments with regards to the game changers and the trailblazers that we have in our studio. It's at Sport at SABC, at Vaylen, Kirtley, at Lebo, Motsoeli.
Just use our hashtag The Ladies Club, and you can also get involved if you'd like to send us an email, maybe a longer love letter. We'd love to hear from you. Let's get our conversation underway with our game changer today, DARA CARROL. From a professional nurse to a brand guru in the world of football, DARA's life has been quite an interesting journey. She's part of the brains trust behind Kaizer Chiefs' successful brand and has been with the club since 1996, while working closely alongside them, and then since 2005.
And her life in the beautiful game started way back in the 80s when she managed a women's football team in the East Rand. She was also SAFA's women's team manager long ago, before they were even called Banyana. And we'll definitely hear the story of Banyana now. Let's welcome our game changer in studio. DARA, welcome to the Ladies Club.
Thank you. Hello.
We've already set the tone saying that from a professional nurse to now a brand guru. How did that transition happen?
I was dragged to watch football, and because I was a nurse and someone fell down, I had to rush off and fix them.
I love that. You were just dragged to go watch football.
So, I mean, they still laugh at how fast I can run with heels. So,
Wow.
yeah, that's actually how it started. And then just being the type of person I am, I got more involved and was part of the South African Women's Football Association and Eastern Transvaal in those days. And then we used to have an interprovincial every year, and there was a women's team that was sponsored by Holiday Inn, and then they had the Springboks, which of course we never were, but they called them the Springboks, and I was the manager of that team, and that actually was the first team that we had before it was called that.
Yeah, before it was called Banyana Banyana.
When 92, when FIFA took us into their little fiefdom, they then brought in the women's team, and we were literally, they had to bring in the women to be there, and they were, SAFA were amazing in the fact that we were only 10 people looking after everything and anything in those days. So a lot has changed since then too. And when we went out there, we had 2 kits that were sponsored by Kappa and 3 T-shirts. And off we went, and afterwards we used to wash them, all them, had to give back all their stuff, washed it, ironed it, to the next bit. So, and they always wanted to have their kit and whatever, but we could never because we didn't have it. And I had to give that up when I was working at Reebok, and in those days it was voluntary, and you can't take off 3 weeks to go off on a camp or do a camp. But I've always stayed with them, and the claim to fame really is that, one, I made them wear skirts, and Gloria Galeli said it was the saddest day of her life. And it was, we started with Terry Payne as a coach, and he instilled a lot of discipline that we sort of didn't know about. And then we had Zandile Bali, who came along, and I still say that he saved my life, because we were in Joburg, and he drove my car to a match commissioners meeting, and he was driving us back. And I know that if I was driving that car, we would all be in heaven long ago, because taxi came screaming towards us, and he did this little number and whatever. And I always used to say to him, Zandile, you saved my life.
Wow.
So
Sure.
that was Zandile. And then we didn't do well, but we were the one team. There were only 2 qualifiers, and there was only one team that could go, and we, of course, had lost to Nigeria by a hell of a score. You see, that's me there with all
With the
the
kids.
stuff. Ironing, they all got their little bags, and then they had to give me back those little bags, and washed and cleaned and whatever. That was the first team that was sponsored by Kappa, so we're still wearing that Bafana kit. We all had the same. It's only recently, actually, that they've made a woman's kit. You know, we always used to have...
How much has changed?
And I mean, I don't know, that Cheryl Boertes is like this, and she's a little skinny thing. And we'd always have to take her stuff and have to make it, sew it, so that it would actually stay on her, you know. So, but that's how I became involved with women's football.
And back then you were doing so much. So you were not only helping the team wash the kit, but you were also nursing the injuries that they picked up along the way, driving the car, avoiding taxis.
I did everything. I was the nurse, the physio, the doctor, the whatever. Now, later we got a physio, which the physio arrived before a game, and the first thing that she was asked to do, not that I still tease her about it, is that she gave a massage to the captain of the team. And I was so looking forward to having this physio that we could do all the wrapping up and, you know, bits and bobs that players always have and idiosyncrasies. And we travelled like that we travelled to Africa with not a brass farthing. I mean, in Nigeria, I had to use a guy that came from Western Province. I had to use his credit card to buy something. We had no money. Before that, Safa would pay the medicines that we asked for, whatever, but we never went with money. We never went with anything. And thank goodness countries had to be hospitable to you, so we'd stay in the hotel. I still dread to think about Angola now, that we drank cold drinks and whatever. I never paid that bill. I ran out of that hotel on the Monday.
The bill?
No, we didn't pay that. We were there. Angola paid it.
Hopefully.
Yeah, well, hopefully. I mean, we were in Angola. We didn't have training fields. We had to go, and we played up at the top of the hotel thing. And then our footballs kept on, and we only had 10 footballs, so they couldn't all keep falling down into places where bombs had dropped. So we eventually were running up and down the passageway training. What? And then the people, it was used as a hotel for the air hostesses.
Yeah.
And eventually they came out
they need to sleep
very unpopular with us and said, you know, like, come on, we're trying to sleep. So we had to stop that. And we played Angola. We played in grass up to here.
What?
And the change rooms that I've been in my life, and I mean, that was years ago.
And this was all voluntary?
Yeah, it was all voluntary.
It has to be passion.
Love of the game,
Yeah.
love of being around. It was fabulous. It was a fabulous time. A lot of hard work, but it was a fabulous time.
And then after Banyana, you went and worked with Reebok, which is how the connection with Kaizer Chiefs happened.
Well, yes. Emmy Casaletti Page, she had been one of the owners of Kappa, and they sponsored us. And then when she actually fell pregnant with a little one, they asked me to go and look after Reebok, and I've been there ever since. And then Reebok went to Durban. They'd loved it I'd do for Reebok, but going to Durban wasn't one of them. And then the chairman, I did a few bits and pieces for the chairman, and then he asked me to come and join him. And I've been there since 2005. Sure. And they'd have to drag me kicking and screaming before I leave there. So I'll die at Kaizer Chiefs.
Wow. So DARA CARROLL is absolutely passionate about what she does. I mean, incredible journey she's traveled. I love hearing the insights as to the fact that they traveled so far a distance, not having been paid, sleeping and training in hotel rooms where they shouldn't have been in the first place. It's all about passion. But Impa, before we go to the break, let's take a look at what's been making news. And we're looking at the Department of Sport and Recreation, who's released its 6th report of transformation in South African sport, Vaylen.
Well, upon the release of the report, it was reiterated to federations that penalties would now start to apply for those who continue to fail to meet that 50% mark that is required. The Minister of Sport and Recreation, Thokozile Xasa, said that the long-term aim of transformation was to redress the injustices of the past, where black South Africans were prohibited from participating in national sports during the apartheid era. It's something that we need to see more of. You know, we don't need more talk shops. We actually need things happening on the ground.
But it needs to be on merit. Let's have transformation on merit. On that note, let's talk to Dara when we come back from this short break, because she is nodding a lot when you're talking about this. So some of her views when we come back.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying with the Ladies Club. Our game changer in studio, DARA CARROLL, says that she will have to be taken out in her coffin if she has ever to leave Kaizer Chiefs. We'll continue chatting to her in just a short while, but let's focus in on another woman that has been doing great things. Our trailblazer today is Zelda van Vuuren. Zelda blazed the trail back in 1996, setting new precedents by managing South Africa's greatest female athlete. She's been instrumental in building the Penny Haines brand and has established a solid relationship with the double Olympic gold medalist over the years.
She's definitely done a lot of work, because she's also been instrumental in the national and African champs for swimming, South Africa, the national basketball champs, as well as the 8th IAAF Athletics World Cup. So in terms of branding and marketing, she's really done an incredible job. And speaking of the guru next to us here is Dara, who's done an amazing job when it comes to branding, marketing within Kaizer Chiefs, when branding and marketing was not what it is today. How difficult was it? Or take us through the growth from it's just a T-shirt, no branding is allowed, for us to see it on TV, to now there's different brands that we see it being associated with the bigger brand, which is Kaizer Chiefs.
Before, with competitions, we would have a clean jersey, which only had Kaizer Chiefs on it, and in those days Reebok, or it would have had Nike. And then the sponsor said, but hold on a second, we part of this, we sponsored teams. So then we had big sponsorships, that we had a main shirt sponsor. Football is still the one with the least amount of branding on their T-shirts. They have their main sponsor, they have a sleeve sponsor, and then they will have whoever sponsors the league. Whereas if you look at rugby or cycling or whatever, there's no space anywhere to do anything. But Kaizer Chiefs obviously would follow the rules. It's gone away from just having a sticker somewhere with your name on it or whatever. It's the brand has to develop to everything, and it encompasses everything. It's not just about putting a sticker somewhere. That now is actually the last thing, because it's just part of the process. It's like you brushing your teeth every day. There are 10 things that you always do. Doesn't matter what happens, those 10 things have to be there. And you have grown from that completely, very much so. I mean, when I think of at Reebok, we would have a T-shirt and we'd go anywhere and we'd give 50 people T-shirts and take a photo of 50 people's T-shirts.
And that was it.
And that was it.
Yeah.
Those days are gone, actually. It's more getting involved with processes, the coaching clinics that people do, the CSR projects that people do, that they put their name to something. So their heart is with anything that they do. It's not about the name. It's what you can do to benefit people. And earlier you were also talking about people that need to know what they're doing when they're involved. So the fact that they're a woman has actually got nothing to do with the price of eggs at all.
Yeah.
If you can do that job, whether you're a man, a woman, 99 in the shade, or 5 years old, you get the same space. Generally, I think women are given a lot more scope, but they're having to fight for it. It's not just given to them, which I think is very, very sad, because we would benefit a whole lot more if we had a lot of women around just being there, just being there.
It all starts with the conversation, though. It all starts with women saying, actually, you know what, we've accepted the status quo for a really long time, and it doesn't make us really comfortable, because then it makes the people that are in the other positions maybe reflect upon themselves and say, yes, actually, you're right. I think we need to start changing something. So slowly but surely, it seems as if something's happening there. Who's been your biggest inspiration? Because you come with so much passion and a love for Kaizer Chiefs.
At Kaizer Chiefs, it's the chairman, without an absolute doubt. I love him to death. And he, to me, I always tell people whenever they come to the village that a lot of people don't realise, because they've always seen the chairman around, they never realise that he started that club before he was 25. I mean, that's C for serious. I mean, how do you have that vision? And the chairman is, in anything in football in South Africa, he's been involved. And the chairman has always been, I mean, Orlando Pirates are our biggest rivals, but those two chairmen work together for the greater good.
Yeah.
They see the big picture. They see, on the pitch it's a whole different story, and we can't stand them. But when it comes to working to get something done, they work. And that's what women do. Women get together and get the work done. So, yes, the chairman would have to be my biggest inspiration.
And otherwise in life?
My father. My father was an absolute gem. He took care of us since we were little. My sister and I were brought up by a man, and he was an incredible person, and good Catholic family. So we went to a convent school, and you know, we went to church, and my father made sure that we went to church. I would have easily said, no, I don't need it, but he made sure that we went, even though, so he was a great man, and I still miss him every day. So I would say definitely he would be top of the list.
And before we go, what legacy would you like to leave for the women that are watching that would love to one day also work with such a big brand as Kaizer Chiefs in the same position?
Well, if you look at Kaizer Chiefs' history, there's a whole lot of women at Kaizer Chiefs. And that should be an inspiration to anybody looking at this program. I joined from other women that had been there. The basis of Kaizer Chiefs started with the woman. The woman looked after the players and started the first supporters group and would cook and do everything for them. Wow. So the women have been very important. The chairman's mother was, they talk about her every day, of how instrumental. She used to also wash the kit and make sure that everything was done for Kaizer Chiefs. Wow. So women have been a very important part. And if someone that is such an inspiration and has done so much for South Africa, for football, for the world. I mean, he's a world icon, our chairman. And if he sees that women are an important process, why can't everybody else see this? You know, and he's a visionary, so he's got to be right here. I mean, I really seriously, there's no reason why you cannot. If you have qualified enough to do that job, if you put in the hard work, you can do anything you want. Actually, if you want to fly a kite, ride a plane, fly a plane, ride a bike, you can do any of that. There's no limitations. So the only thing that we actually can't do is make the seed that does the... But everything else a woman can do. And we are fundamental in every person's life. A woman is fundamental. So to me, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. If you want to do something, anyone that's sitting there watching me now, if you want to do something, go and do it.
I love that. Don't let anything hold you back. Dara, thank you so much for being our game changer and coming into the lounge and chatting to us today.
You've been absolutely phenomenal. Looking forward to more strategies from Kaizer Chiefs as the season carries on. And as the new season comes up again with the new sponsors, and you'll know now that she is the brains behind everything new in terms of marketing. But that's all the time we have for today on the Ladies Club. Thank you so much for spending it with us.
Remember, until we meet again, that greatness is always earned and never ever given. Goodbye.